Matthew here from MiniWarGaming.com, bringing you another Dark Potential fundraiser update. We have some new concept art, so I'm going to tell you that right away so that you stay interested enough to keep watching this video. And we'll get looking at that new concept art very, very soon. So there's three things I want to talk about here. The new Xylanthos concept art, for one thing. The new rule set that I am going to be putting out today, as well as talking about the end of our fundraiser, which is nearing. Next Thursday is the last day that you can contribute to the Dark Potential fundraiser. And currently we are sitting just shy of $62,000. At the time of this video, it's $61,924. And our new goal is $70,000. And we'll talk about what we're going to do with that in a second. So first off, the new Xylanthos concept art. Our artists have been working like crazy. The one that's been doing this concept art has just been doing phenomenally and has been producing far quicker than you normally would expect a concept artist to be able to produce. So we almost have the entire starter set for the Xylanthos fully conceptualized, and we even have some of it being sculpted as we speak. So without further ado, let me show you some of the stuff that we have. You've already seen the Xylanthos Commander part of the starter set, so I'll show it to you again right here. Love this one. The weapon that he has is going to be a very powerful blast weapon. It's going to be called something along the lines of an electron masser, where it strips the electrons from the target and shoots them at the nearby opponent. So basically it does an electrical field where it does tons of damage to the target and then some damage to everybody nearby as well. It's a very, very potent weapon right there. And then we have the squad of 5 guys. Now for this, we only had 3 concepts made. We had the squad leader and then 2 separate grunts. And then those 2 grunts will be duplicated, and that gives us 5 guys. And so let's start showing you the art for that. Here's the concept art for the squad leader. And he's going to be different from the other ones because his weapon is going to look more like a pistol kind of thing, even though they're all going to have the same stat line. It's just different so that you can really, he stands out in the battlefield, so you know which of the 5 guys that you're playing with is a squad leader. Squad leader actually has no different stats than everybody else. You just need to know who the leader is for everybody else to be within coherency of him. Then we have 2 grunts, or 2 troopers. Now, Xylanthos grunts are very powerful. They still are armed with an arm-mounted plasma rifle. So here's the first one right here, as you can see. The heads are slightly different, and I think this kind of works well with the Xylanthos because they've done heavy genetic modification over the past, I don't know if it's hundreds or thousands of years they've done that, so it makes sense that they would start to look different. Whereas we have different races. If you actually look at us, we have some differences as well, obviously. Not just difference in color of skin, but the different cultures will have different shapes, their eyes will look differently, different hair colors, different body types. You get that within our own species of humanity. So it makes sense that a species like the Xylanthos, who do heavy genetic modification, would have even more diversity when it comes to how they look. Yeah, even to the point where they're like, I want to look like this next week. And so they do some genetic modifications, and there they change over a little bit of time, or something along those lines. And here's the other grunt that's part of that squad. So you can see that they're armed with the same thing, slightly different armor, slightly different look. I just want there to be some diversity there. Because at the same time, you have to remember that they're stranded on Earth too. So they're going to be kind of salvaging or scavenging for their own armor and everything else. So they're not all going to be perfectly militarized and have this nice, clean look to them. I want them to be struggling to survive just as much as humanity. They're just different, that's all. So that's what we have for the Xylanthos so far. You can expect more next week. It's going to be doing more of the corporation as well. The artist has asked for a little break from the Xylanthos. We only have one left to do, which is the assassin. But we're going to get him to do some more of the corporation first to get them down, because we have some cool stuff for them. We need to get him to do a sniper, a flamethrower guy, and then a squad of 5 guys as well, or 4 guys in this case, just like the Xylanthos. So there'll be probably 3 different ones, a leader and 2 grunts, which will then duplicate those grunts. So there you go. There's our latest concept art. So things are moving along quite well. On schedule so far, so hopefully that keeps up when we really get going with the sculpting as well. So number 2, our new goal. And if you're waiting to talk about the rules, I'll do that right after this. Our new goal is $70,000. We already talked about that last week, I believe. What are we going to do if we hit $70,000? Well, what I said we'd do if we hit $60,000 is that I would hire writers to get all of the lore done. So all the prehistory or pre-war, the war and a bit of the post-war history done, and then an overview, at least a brief overview of each of the factions as well, and some stories in there. And so they're hard at work with that right now. I've got 3 people now hired. One person actually hired from the short story contest. So we'll probably announce who those people are later on. Still have to announce the winners of the short story contest. I might not have time to do that today. Probably end up doing it next week. Things have been really hectic, so I apologize for that. Anyways, Dan and I have been playtesting a lot of the rules. We posted today on MiniWarGaming.com a full session of us playtesting. People have been asking for that. I've been wary to do it or hesitant to do it because the rules aren't fully developed yet, and because we're using other companies' models, which, you know, I don't want to do, but I'm not going to wait till September to start posting our own battle reports, our own playtesting, because people have been really wanting them. So I'll put a link below or above, depending where you're watching this, to that 6-part video series. It's like 2 hours long because it's unedited, it's very raw, it's just Dan and I handing back the camera, and we're playtesting a few different mechanics, and then we actually playtest a game with the starter boxes plus a bit more. So we've posted that. And today, by the time you watch this video, I will have posted the latest rules, 0.1.3 of the alpha rules, and there's been heavy modifications. The core system has stayed the same, but there's been some heavy modifications to things like morale, suppressing fire, falling. We've added gravity and anti-gravity mines. We've added smoke grenades. And of course, along with that, I'm going to actually be uploading the stats for the 2 starter boxes. And so you can actually play test with the Zlanthos and the corporation now. And we can start talking about balance issues and everything else like that. And so we've already started to play test these 2 starter boxes, and it seems kind of fun. So we want to make sure that we get all these rules down. There's still some rules that need polishing, let me just put it that way. But we've been getting some really good suggestions from people on the forums, and I've been implementing those. That's actually what I've been basing a lot of stuff off of. People have been giving ideas for how to fix suppressive fire, how to fix command points, how to fix this, that, the other thing. And to be honest, half the rules there are based on suggestions. So keep it up. Participate on the Dark Potential forums if you want to contribute to this whole project overall, and that would be great. So, yeah, you know what? I actually skipped what we're going to do if we hit $70,000 as a goal. I've got it written down right in front of me, and yet I still skipped it. So, sorry about that. I'm jumping back and forth here. But what are we going to do if we hit $70,000? Well, I said that with $60,000, we would write up all the lore. Well, with $70,000, I was going to get artists to illustrate some key parts of that lore and to give us even more illustrations. So you probably noticed behind me is the one environmental art of the space elevator. I've got it plaqued. And I'm sorry, this cannot be one of the prizes because this is like $100, like $25 to print it and then like $75 to plaque it. I might be able to get a little cheaper if I start doing them in bulk, but it's pretty expensive. But like I said last time, if you contribute at least $5, you're going to get access to this art. And you'll have my permission to print it and turn it into posters for personal use only. You can't sell them or mass produce them. So, but you will have, along with the desktop wallpaper, which is actually at 1080p, so it's very high resolution. We'll also be giving you the print versions of them as well. So you can do this. So I got this one plaqued, and where's the other one? There it is. And I got this one plaqued. Got to get these up on the wall. See, it's plaqued. Okay, so, and then the other thing I got plaqued was this. Remember I said that we were in the newspaper? I actually got the newspaper clipping. We were front page news, and I like what they called it, bright spot for Dark Potential. So I thought that was a clever title, although most people who read that title on the front page of the newspaper will be like, what on earth does that even mean? So we were in our local newspaper, Wednesday, April 11th, as you can see right there. And the Tribune, and there's some fun pictures. That's Necrons. There's my Necron army right there. I love how they chose that picture. And then they have a second picture in here. Kind of ironic that it's a Necron army for a Dark Potential newspaper spot. But she wanted to show kind of what we do. So since we don't have any models for Dark Potential yet, that's what we did. Anyway, so I think that's everything. It's the weekend, so happy weekend. Have a good weekend. And remember, we're coming to the end stretch here. Want to hit $70,000. I really think we're going to be able to. We're only $8,000 shy of that, and we've already done almost So yeah, it's going great. Thank you so much for all your support. It's been tremendous. This is Matthew from MiniWarGaming. Happy wargaming.